The so-called group of death. Dempsey. The US ahead within seconds. Josie Altidore. Oh, now that is a problem. Jean with a lovely ball though. Andre Ayew equalizes to break American hearts. Susie to take it. What about that? It's John Brooks. He couldn't even have dreamt that. Welcome to Manaus. Will lightning strike twice for the US? Oh, and another near miraculous save. Tim Howard to the rescue. Oh, yes! Jermaine Jones! What a cracker from him! And then Susie and Dempsey. It's 2-1 to the US. Oh, it's a great cross, and it is an equalizer.
Wow. And that's the final whistle.
1 point is all the US need. It's Thomas Muller. It is 1-0. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored, and that takes the pressure off the United States. It's over now. USA are through. From high anxiety, high tension, and probably tremendous excitement. Origi and Tim Howard's legs save the US. Desperate for the US to get to half-time. One or two ominous signs for a currently creaking US defense. That is half-time. 0-0. Origi! Tim Howard again! Again Tim Howard, who is having one of the games on his distinguished career. Wondolowski! That's it. It's going to extra time. De Bruyne has scored for Belgium. Lukaku wants it. Lukaku gets it. Lukaku scores. The end of the road for the US. And look at this. It's Julian Green.
This looks far from over, Ian.
I'm going to try something slick here. Dempsey! Oh, big save from Courtois. And that's how close the US were. Well, if the US are going out, they're going out on their shield. And the referee blows time on the USA's World Cup campaign. Death in extra time again. But it could hardly have been a braver fight. It was another United States World Cup game dripping with drama. They were outplayed by Belgium, but Taylor, they so nearly pulled that around in extra time.
Well, it started with Julian Green coming in, scoring a great goal immediately with his first touch. But Tim Howard made 16 saves, Ian. And if not for Tim Howard...
That's the most, by the way, in a half a century of World Cup football by any goalkeeper.
What's the scoreline if he's not in goal tonight? And that's the one concern that U.S. soccer fans, you and I included, that's the concern you have, because against the quality opponents, they dominate, they defend, they dominate possession. The United States has to bridge that gap in the future.
No hard luck story, really. How far along Jurgen Klinsmann's road between the elite teams and the USA, how far along the road is he to bridging the gap?
Well, they got out of the group of death. That's a great step for off-the-field progress. But on the field, 2002, they defended their way through that World Cup. 2010, same way. And in this one, they did. What's going to be very interesting for me is the next 4 years under Jurgen Klinsmann. You talk about that gap. Well, possession has to be a part of that, because against the quality opponents in the round of 16, you have to be able to have some possession going forward. And tonight against Belgium, the United States didn't.
But from such a tough group, I'd say the World Cup campaign was a success. In a word, what do you think?
Yes, but there's still plenty of work to be had.
I'd agree on that. But sadly, it is the end of the World Cup road for the US.
It's unfortunate. My heart breaks for the guys, because watching that, you feel it. You know what they're going through. You know the agony. And, you know, it's easy to say, but at the end of the game, they really put so much into it. And you thought they were going to get something there at the end, but it seemed like it was too little too late. And by that time, you know, you wouldn't have said that it was meant to be in that way, but you have to tip your hat, and the guys played really well. You know, it's the American mentality, it's the American spirit. It's what's always been good about this team, is that no matter what happens, they keep going. We always have that competitive piece, that fighting spirit, but now we need to start developing the technical players, being able to possess the ball and attack better, so that we're the team creating 25 chances and not the team that's on the other end of it.
Landon makes a good point there. If you look at the team, and a lot of people talk about possession, but when you go into more detail of what possession means, it's passing the ball well, controlling it, playing quick, decision-making, And I think that's where we lack. And when we compare to the bigger nations, what they do, they move the ball quickly up the field. They're dangerous. They can keep it when they need to. And we couldn't. And we you know, to be honest, it's not been something that we've done in the past. So it's going to take some time. We need some players to come in. The good thing is there's a bright future. There's some good young talent on the team coming through. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. There's certainly a continuation with the coaching. Klinsmann signed on for another World Cup. But at the same time, you know, you hit the reset button again. This cycle's over, and you have to start over again.
There's been glorious first-minute joy.
Dempsey's going out! The US ahead! Incredibly, within seconds!
And last-moment drama from an unimaginable hero.
It's John Brooks! It's John Brooks! Have they stolen it?
A showdown with the World Player of the Year that summoned come-from-behind brilliance and suffered the dagger of last-kick vengeance. This nuanced experience even taught a growing soccer nation that a loss, a close one, was cause for modest celebration.
The United States will be playing in the last 16 of the World Cup.
A manager's brutal honesty that this trophy was a bridge too far still meant that a memorable journey across Brazil could push back that truth moment by moment.
Oh, another miraculous save from Howard.
Memory by memory.
Captain Marvel again.
There is a respect for the American game, and it's not begrudging. It's honestly won. This team that sees life out of the group of death went further than the defending champions, a four-time winner, even our cousins from across the pond. Something has changed, and it won't be the same. Americans bought more tickets to this football festival than any nation except the hosts. A roster cutdown became a national headline story. We gathered here in the sand, back home in the streets, and wherever we could to feel the tingling possibility, the nervous edge, and the sting of reality which inevitably visits all but one nation this month.
Lukaku scores, and surely the end of the road for the US.
I believe that we will look back on this Brazilian journey as the time the pursuit of the World Cup became less a dream than a tangible goal for which our grasp is closer now than ever.
At the World Cup, the traditional post-elimination valediction offered by head coaches is often a melancholy affair. In any career, there are only so many opportunities to be seized and so few World Cups. The atmosphere is choked with what-ifs. And so it was with Jurgen Klinsmann Wednesday in Sao Paulo. Less than 24 hours after the Belgians knocked his team out of the tournament, Klinsmann was still processing all the what-ifs.
It's little things that make the difference, and as mentioned last night, a little bit of luck, but it is also maybe a little bit of individual place that can kind of put that ball in the net or not. I think overall that we're going in the right direction.
Missed opportunities were still haunting Klinsmann. In particular, Chris Wondolowski's chance near the end of the second half against Belgium. He even suggested that his team will benefit from increased scrutiny of such failures.
You know, getting critical in certain moments, you know, and make them clear that, listen, you know, if you would have put that ball down in the net yesterday, we would be in the next round, you know. So think about that a second without, you know, kind of making it too harsh, but they need that kind of sense of accountability. It makes them feel accountable. You know, not just walk away with a bad performance and nothing happens. No, if you have a bad performance, and people should approach you and tell you that.
Of course, Klinsmann's invitation to bring it on might only have been the result of an exhausted mind still reeling from the dissolution of his World Cup hopes, or a roundabout way of expressing his own criticism. On days like today, even Klinsmann, who won a World Cup as a player, embodies the truth of the words of John Greenleaf Whittier. Of all sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these: it might have been. In Sao Paulo, Jeremy Schaap, ESPN.
The month-long festival of football is about to begin.
The players have prepared for their entire careers for this moment.
You can see what all of this means to them.
'Cause you're a sky full of stars.
Huge expectation on Brazil.
I'm gonna give you my heart.
Stand by for high anxiety and tremendous excitement.
Neymar, it seems, cannot be stopped. Messi, majestic at the Maracanã. A sensational volley.
Wouldn't you just know it? He's back with a goal.
Hamas! My word, this boy's a star. Move over Shakira.
My goodness me, can you believe this? Oh, and another near miraculous save.
Boy, are they building a statue for him.
I don't care, go on and tear me apart.
A moment of rash indiscipline, a moment of madness.
I don't care if you do.
And all the headlines will belong to Luis Suarez. The US ahead within seconds. What about that? It's John Brooks for the USA. Oh, yes, Jermaine Jones. What a cracker from him. Susie and Dempsey's Captain Marvel again.
The United States have turned many doubters into believers.
Is there quite enough drama in this World Cup for you?
I don't care, go on and tear me apart.
Spain's embarrassment is complete. It goes down penalty.
Tim Howard having one of the games of his distinguished career. De Bruyne has scored. The end of the road for the US. And that is it. This is going to penalties. It's missed. Brazil are through. Brazil have done it. Somebody's going to be a hero. Somebody's going to be a villain.
The seemingly impossible has happened. Costa Rica in the quarterfinals. And Ruiz sees his shot saved by Krul. And Krul has tipped it aside. Netherlands make the semi-finals.
Now it's Luis. And it's sensational. 2-0 Brazil. Colombia so brave, but they are out.
Neymar, the superstar for Brazil, fractured vertebrae. He is out for the rest of the tournament.
Miroslav Klose, and that is a moment of history. That's 7. They cannot believe it. And Brazil's World Cup is surely over.
And for only the 5th time in World Cup history, a semi-final goes to penalty kicks. Maxi Rodriguez sends Argentina into the World Cup final.
It all comes down to this. The 3rd time these two famous footballing nations have met in the final. Can he finish it here? No! Miroslav Klose walking off for the very last time.
There's still plenty of time for someone to be a hero.
Götze! It's Mario Götze! Germany are the champions of the world!